Yeah.
Yeah, and that's when Viking Yoda broke the hell out and just wiped them all. Suddenly we have noticed that we're on the air. What the hell?
Yeah.
Viking Yoda wasn't prepared. He's just standing there. He's almost drunk. It's okay. We can do this.
Yeah. Viking Yoda never knows that we're live.
He's got tipsy. He doesn't
care. Oh, it's been a very interesting last week. We didn't do a breakfast show last Thursday because
scheduled though.
Yeah. Welcome everyone. Welcome. This is iNDIEvOLT Live. Today we are joined by our usual cast of cohorts. Is cohorts a word?
It's cohorts.
Yeah, okay.
It's a word.
We got Randy Zimmerman and Lola, aka iCandy, here with us. We're talking about comics. How about the industry? We're gonna talk about the conventions that we suffered through this last weekend. And talk a bunch of stuff about comic books. Thank you for joining us. Here is the intro. I'm gonna roll that beautiful bean footage, right, Randy?
Roll that beautiful bean footage, buddy.
All right. One day we're gonna roll. It's gonna be a porno clip. I just know it.
Let's head.
Hello, everybody. I forgot my good morning Comic-Con or good evening Comic-Con.
Hello, iNDIEvOLT. Anybody listening out there from foreign lands, we're happy to have you aboard.
Yeah. I am Varian Grant. I'm the co-owner of Last Call Comics for the last 7 to 8 years, founder of iNDIEvOLT Media LLC. I got my start making comics in 2008, way back when. My first book published was a black and white interior action comedy called Psycho Sirens. I'm a father, a husband, a geek, a creator, a publisher, reluctant taxpayer, and artist, shamefully not in that order. You're watching iNDIEvOLT Live. Tonight, I am joined by
iCandy.
Yeah.
She's not speaking. She's just here to watch.
Yeah, she's here to watch.
Hey, everybody. I'm Randy Zimmerman. I'm owner of Zim Graphics. I do graphic and commercial artwork. Owner of Flint Comics, which is no longer around. I printed 100 issues of a comic and entertainment newspaper that we circulated around the Flint, Michigan area. Printed many alternative and independent comic books over the years, more than I want to admit. Worked for a lot of independent companies. And right now I'm doing Zim Geek on YouTube, Zim Geek channel, where I'm putting up videos whenever I can. Lately, it's been about 3 weeks since I put up my last one, but I'm going to have time here to put up more content very shortly. So,
very shortly.
Thanks for joining us.
Hello, chat. Got Ted Davies in the chat. How you doing, Ted? Ted is the creator of Retrieve, the comic book, as well as Dave the Supreme, who is the creator of the Brown Family comic.
The Experience.
How are you guys doing? And we'll be joined by Lewis very shortly. However,
only if he can make it. We're not sure.
He is back, I believe. He is back. Randy, I was at a Comic-Con this last weekend. I was at Indiana Comic-Con. Fantastic con. And myself and Lola were there, and it was a rough show. It was a rough show. It was a rough show. Well, you know what, the thing that really upset me is that I was told I wouldn't have to go far for food, and that was a lie. I was lied to. They told me it was food in the lobby, and there was none. I had to actually eat at a convention center to acquire food.
I hate it when that happens, especially if you're the only one watching the table.
Yeah, I don't like having to acquire food that way.
No,
it sucks. So yeah. Hello.
What a timing. Just Lewis comes on. Just as you say, that sucks.
Yeah, he did it on purpose.
I'm sorry. I'm a fast clicker.
Fast clicker.
I'm a fast clicker. Lola knows about that.
So I'll leave that alone for Lola's sake.
I got to talk about our porn career, but.
So I want to start this off with the question that actually I'm choosing as something new here. Question of the day, which actually is let me see here. It actually set the theme for this episode. And let Let's see if I got this right. I should.
Name? Is there music?
No. Randy, why don't you read that for me?
I'm amazed how many indie publishers share mainstream comic news on their respective social media pages. Lost count of how many celebrated Batman Day or share casting news from one of these movies. Marvel Image Act didn't celebrate Batman Day. Why is No Name Press? What is? I'm not sure I even followed that last part. Maurice Q.
The way I took the question is basically why is it that the indie publishers, and I've seen a few of them do it, they promote and talk about mainstream news on their Facebook. So for instance, they'll say, oh my gosh, did you guys hear about Robert Pattinson's new Batman? Right on their, no name press, Facebook. I've seen that a few times. I personally don't do it with Last Call Comics.
And seriously, who really wants to celebrate Batman Day?
I did. I celebrated on my personal Facebook.
How did you do that?
I posted a picture of Batman. I took a picture with one at the convention, but that was it. I didn't know it was like, you post to basic. I guess people are watching Batman movies and they do it every day. They do it every year.
Okay.
Batman Day. I think it's a Superman Day too. I'm not sure, but
I'm sure there is.
Yeah, but they do a Batman Day. I don't know what I don't know if I know I don't do it for my.
But there is no elongated man day. God damn it. Is there?
Elongated man is sexually triggering. Trigger. Elongated man.
So man thing, swamp thing. Anyway, go ahead.
So, what do you guys, Randy? Have you ever pushed another company's a mainstream company's wares on your pages, or
only if I like them, or if I think it's particularly funny, or if it's a Dick Sprang Batman, maybe I might share that because that's cool looking to me. Or if there's an awesome Batman illustration out there, I might pass a meme along. But I don't remember doing it specifically because it was Batman Day. My opinions on Batman are uniquely my own.
How about you, Louis? How do you feel about that? Indie publishers posting content, getting excited about mainstream news.
No different than when we cover mainstream news here on INDIEvOLT. It's comics. We talk about comics. You love comics, you talk about comics.
Daisy Green says, I did. He and Ralph Griffin says, because we're all fans of comic books, and he's a great character. Batman is a cool character. I like Batman. Despite what everyone says. I was told by Eric Hodson, aka Dreaded Dinosaur, you can add him at Dreaded Dinosaur, that I have an homage. I have a collection of Batman and Wolverine statues, 2 favorite characters, and he says that I have a shrine built to overrated characters. So if you get an opportunity, please add Eric Hodson at Dreaded Dinosaur and let him know.
What is that?
Standards and practices.
That was standards and practices. Told me not to say anything about Batman Day. They know how I feel. Hang on just a second.
Okay. They
Well, soon it'll be Batwoman Day, and we got to talk about Batwoman.
Yeah, I got a Batwoman poster. I got a Batwoman poster from Indiana Comic Con. They had the CW Fort Wayne there, and they gave me a Batwoman poster. Ted Davies says, I did too, and I love Batman, and it's my social media site. I can post what I want. LOL. And yeah, I mean,
technically, as long as Facebook approves.
yeah.
I mean, you can post it, but they might remove it.
Should we? The most classiest thing I've seen was a couple years ago. Well, almost 6 years now since the PS4 and Xbox One systems released. The PS4 came out, and very classy move on Microsoft's behalf. They posted a picture on their Twitter congratulating Sony in Microsoft trade dress, Xbox trade dress. Say congratulations on your launch, Sony. And and then next week when Microsoft launched their system, Sony did the same thing. very classy acts. And I wonder sometimes, what would that be shocking to anybody if they seen Marvel post the Batman picture? Like, happy Batman Day, everybody. No?
I'm being quiet. Batman. Okay, never mind. I
Marvel creator
how I feel about Batman.
Yeah, I mean,
same way I feel about Harley Quinn. So think about what you're celebrating. Yay!
Yeah,
that's Lola's favorite character.
Sorry. I do just want to say that Black Belt Perez says hello to Lola. He is happy she is on tonight.
Wave at the camera for Black Belt. Yeah, there you go. So yeah, does anybody have any I guess in the indie community we're all fans, like Ralph touched on it. We're all fans and we all get super excited for these characters we've grown up with.
We all have our favorites.
Yeah, I guess. I mean,
if you ask the Democrats, every day is Uncle Scrooge Day.
Hold on. Sorry. I'm going to call Lewis out. Lewis is being reserved. I've been watching Quoth the Raven, and you get up all in the camera and shit. Where's the was it Stephen A. Smith? Where's all that? Where's all the piss and vinegar? Where's all the piss and vinegar?
You want a Raven rant?
We get great value Raven. I see. We get let's see here.
You haven't been your viewers.
I would be shocked.
Your viewers are like very nice to you.
Yeah.
They say kind of nasty shit to me, and I give it right back. That's all.
Ralph Griffin says, says, remember Soups being in the back page of the Death of Captain Marvel? I don't.
No, I don't. But then I haven't seen the book in a long time. So
that was back when they were kind of friendly to each other, though.
Mm-hmm.
I remember Stan Lee being at the funeral of Superman in the back, and that was on the animated series, though. Yeah, Stan Lee was at the funeral. That was cool.
Stan Lee was everywhere.
But yeah, so yeah,
you secretly created the DC universe too.
Don't let that rumor get out there. It'll grow legs and excuse me. So next question here is
a live sneeze.
Yeah, live sneeze. Ooh, that was a good one. All right. And Randy, you could do all the reading because, again, you have a nice reading voice. We don't have Scott Roseman here tonight, so you'll do. Here we go.
Mainstream obviously hires influencers to try and disrupt the movement of indie comics. My theory is that they don't really care about Comicsgate. It's just the largest and most vocal movement at the moment, so they attack it. Tom P. Thanks for writing in your opinion, Tom.
I guess I gotta weigh in on that opinion.
Who are these influencers that they hire? I'd just like to know.
I want to know, how can I get a job as an influencer?
Mm-hmm.
I'll go out there and this comic is awesome. Pick it up. Checks in the mail, right, Marvel? Checks in the mail. Okay. Hell, I'll influence your comic. If you're watching IndieVolt right now, I'm just kidding. No, I won't do that. But yeah, I mean,
it's called sponsorships, Varian. Yes.
Do you think though that Marvel's doing that? Is that a possibility that Marvel's actually hiring people to go out there and to disrupt the indie comics movement?
I don't think they care about the indie comics movement.
Yeah.
I don't think they care about the retailers, to tell you the truth. I do think that they have so-called influencers. I think they have set characters that try to pervade certain sets of progressive political points that they like hitting on and getting across. Mm-hmm. Whether you call it progressive or whatever, that there are much better and easier ways for them to be doing what they're doing than by trying to hit people over the head with obvious soapboxing. Mm-hmm. At least the stuff that I've seen or read, that some of these so-called talented people have done. But I don't think that they care about indie comics. I think they're trying to, if they try to denigrate Comicsgate, I don't think that's coming from the companies. I think that's coming from the talent base themselves, and they're a little bit upset, maybe a little bit dumbfounded, maybe a little bit angry at the political scene because their candidate didn't get in 3 years ago, and they don't like the way that people are actually out there on their own making money, doing stuff on their own. Dan Slott just recently did a big set of tweets that everybody's tearing apart. Not that, anybody should care what Dan Slott says, but it's just, a lot of it just came off as petty jealousy.
Mm-hmm.
These people are making money. It's great that they're not including the retailers. And it's really funny because Marvel has been doing everything they can not to include the retailers for years. It's just that Dan Slott's either turned a deaf ear or hasn't been aware. As a lot of these guys are on such hard deadlines. They're mushroom. They're kept in a dark place and fed whatever BS that the company line wants them to know, and they don't go out much social. They hang in their own social circles instead of trying to get out and understand what everybody else is doing. So
yeah.
What are you gonna say, Lewis?
I think there's a difference between the company like Marvel, as you say, keeping retailers at a distance and screwing over retailers, and the situation that Slott and others are criticizing the Indiegogo / Kickstarter groups. But the thing is, and this is where Dan screws up, is that a lot of these books were through Diamond and were not supported by retailers originally. And that's why they're at Indiegogo. That's why they're at Kickstarter, because the audience was there, but the retailers didn't support them to get them to that audience.
Well, again, like a number of these talent people that are working for the mainstream, they don't go out and try to look for themselves and understand what's going on. They just follow what the next guy on social media has told them, and they believe it. And, if it's negative, then these guys are a-holes. And if it's positive, well, these guys are okay, or these guys are great, That's all they need to go out there and look for themselves about what's happening. I
have to understand shit.
That's exactly where that comes from. That's exactly where that comes from. They need to stop being mushroomed. And that was something that I even spoke about in 10, 20 years ago and Spank the Monkey on the comic market.
Yep, professional mushrooming. Yep.
These professionals are all they're on deadlines. There's only certain things that they can do because they're slaving in front of a board. So if they're lucky to get off on Twitter to 3 or 4, well, that wasn't the right phrasing. If they're lucky to get off on Twitter,
they get off on it and get onto it.
2 or 3 hours a day, then that's the only news, and especially in the industry, that they absorb, or from idiot sites that parrot the press releases like Bleeding Cool and CBR. They don't go out there and try to find out what's actually happening in the market.
Do you guys want a comic book question or industry question next? We got 2 questions left.
It doesn't matter.
A what? A comic book or a what?
Comic book question or an industry question?
Isn't that the same thing?
Well, one is more about the industry, one's more about actual books.
Whichever one you want to throw.
All right.
Yeah. You're going to throw both of them at us anyway. Just pick one.
This one didn't have a name attached. So,
thanks for writing in, no name. Get a pair next time. Put your name to it. Have any of you guys ever saw an indie comic so bad it set the standard back a few years? I'm getting really tired of being pitched comics on the con floor that once I open are effing garbage, artistic, plot, production wise.
Well, that's all subjected to personal taste.
Well, Mr. Garbage Pitcher.
Yeah.
Garbage receptacle. Trash can dude.
Yeah. Isn't that what we call trash can? Yeah. I mean, he'd have to give us some examples of what he's talking about. Or she.
Oh, no, he doesn't have to cite that because he doesn't even want to attach his name to this letter.
Yeah.
You just have to understand, some of these guys are just starting out. Some of these guys are in it for love of it. Some of them are out there just trying to do work just to get it out there into people's hands and get it looked at. Some people grow from printing, and some people don't. You know, it's just a matter of where they're at a certain point in time. It's subjective too. It's all art. You know, somebody might think that Keith Giffen's work is utter garbage. Some people think that, you know, Vince Colletta's inking in Marvel and DC was utter garbage.
However, I have seen some books that have been disappointing.
And there's always going to be books out there that are disappointing, not just in the indie market, but also in the mainstream market. Some people that are embarrassing, or they're just there in order to collect a paycheck or whatever. But you just have to look at each individual product for what it is and try to understand where that person's at. A little bit of empathy goes a long way. You know, and somebody's first try, you know, you go back and you look at here's an example people might not know. when Guy Davis first started, he was doing a real anime style. When he worked for Arrow doing The Realm, he was copying mostly Rock and Roll and Ruby Spears animation until he grew up and his style evolved into a fantastic individual style on Sandman Mystery Theater and a lot of other things. And now he's not even doing comics. He's busy doing movie production work. Mm-hmm. So you don't know where somebody's going to end up. That crap book from that person might turn out to be a real valuable first published effort by somebody who really ends up taking off. Or it could just stay and remain trash. You know? Trash. You never know. You never know.
And like Randy says, you know, it's subjected to personal taste too. One person's trash is another's treasure. You know, you might like that person that someone else thinks is trash. So,
and I've seen some crappily drawn books that have actually turned out to be pretty good in the long run. Mm-hmm. Everybody starts somewhere. Some people don't leave there. That's all. While at CincyCon this past weekend, thanks Jay Wilson for writing in, I approached a creator publisher from whom I've been buying from for 5 years. We speak online from time to time as well. This weekend, he attempted to pitch me the series that I already own. And when I told him who I was, it didn't refresh his memory. Feeling used. Jay Wilson, thanks for writing in. I'm sorry you felt used, but, you know, and again, when you're pitching at a show, you know, they might not know who you are.
Mm-hmm.
I have
in a name, you know, I mean, you know, we pitch, we sell to all sorts of different people. You know, I don't know, that's kind of a weird reaction in my opinion, but then again, I don't know.
Well, you know,
they're not always going to remember you. I've got people that are regulars that show up at all my shows and buy my stuff that, you know, sometimes I recognize them and sometimes I don't. All it takes is a change in hair or a loss of 20 or 30 pounds and boom, you look like a whole different person. So I wouldn't hold it against them, especially if you like their product. If you don't like their product, those bastards don't deserve your money anymore.
Ralph Griffith says, I never minded reading over ideas from others. Maybe I could help with a few pointers. And I think he was referring to comics setting the standard back. But as far as this question goes, I can't remember certain people. And those are the ones who really are engaged with us at the table, or even afterwards. I've got some fans and readers. I don't even call them fans. I've just got some readers that they stay in contact and they're very vocal, and they let me know they're coming to a con, and that helps remember me to remember who they are, and Lola as well. But you know, you can't get mad if a publisher doesn't remember you or a creator doesn't remember you offhand. It may take a couple of minutes, maybe up to an hour for them to, I know you. That's right. You know,
they handle constant sales. Hopefully, if they're a decent publisher, they handle multiple sales at the show. So they're not going to remember every individual sale. So
don't feel slighted.
Don't take it personally.
Don't feel used.
Just walk up to him next time and go, you didn't remember me the last time I walked up to you, but I'm buying your stuff anyway because I love it.
Yeah.
And you know what? They'll remember you.
Yeah. Yeah, they'll remember that.
You just have to make a mark into their memory. That's all.
I have a gentleman that always gets commissions from me. I remember him, but
That's because he asks for naked mice.
I mean, I can, a lot of times we'll remember a person's face, but we won't remember their name.
Mm-hmm.
I'm all over that. I had a guy coming to the show all the time. I'm still not sure if his name is Jim or Don. Buys one everything I do. I love the guy. He's awesome. But it's all, hey, buddy, how's it going? Usually if I don't know the person's name, it's either their buddy or hey, friend, or, thanks, guy or girl, or, hey there. Hey there. Glad you're here. Thanks for coming. Buy my stuff.
I also noticed that Randy has to be reminded sometimes through work, like the person's done. So like, he's like, who is that? And I have to recite them books they've done.
Yeah.
Oh, that guy. Yeah. Fuck that guy.
That guy's an idiot. Don't leave. I try not to remember people unless they're important. Who are you again down in the corner? No, just kidding. Just kidding.
I mean, that happens at CincyCon. That's unfortunate. Let's see here.
CincyCon after all. Anyway. Was that wasn't the show you were just at, was it?
No, I was at Indiana Fantasticon.
You hear any reports from CincyCon?
I have heard reports from CincyCon.
Ralph Griffith actually heard from Tim Dazan today. Tim Dazan just reminded me today that he came up with the title The Realm while driving to one of our meetings. Totally forgot until he reminded me. Only to be stolen by Kirkman. So it's all good.
Too many drugs, LOL.
Too many drugs. True story, Ralph? Sorry.
Ted Days to take pics with them and then purchase with TG? Is TG?
TG must be the hot booth, babe. Be the hot booth, babe.
I think he meant tag.
Yeah. Okay. There's a name and info works every time. Yeah, you could do that. I you know what? I wonder. I'm waiting for the day that someone says, I don't want to be tagged in your stuff. Take me off of there. I no longer agree with you. You said that you don't like cats, and I'm a cat lover. So untag me from those photos, all of them.
Yep.
You cat Nazi, you. May you get scratched by a cat and develop typhoid.
Wouldn't that make you a Kittler?
Yeah.
Anyway. But yeah, who knows? Comics are such a odd and eclectic marketplace that the only way you're really going to remember somebody from show to show is if they have an impact on you, other than you're just coming up and buying a book.
Well, I remember people who have an impact on me, especially
hardcore exchange or a good talk or something that registers in that person's head. And some people's heads are thicker than others, so really has to register. Speaking from personal experience.
I'm sorry, I was just reading Ralph's comment section. I'm not sure. Like,
oh, I gotta jump over there now. Is it not worth printing or what?
I could put it up. It's not up to 10 yet, but I could put it up.
Derogatory. Too many drugs?
No. Hello.
I don't see anything below that in mine.
Well, the first one he edited himself, so it's you puss lover.
You figure it out.
Yeah.
That's not up on my chat.
It's not?
No.
I put it up on the screen, so it's there. So
puss lover. The last thing I have up there is Davies. Their name and info works every time. That's as far down as my read goes.
So at the con this week, at Indiana Comic Con, Fantasticon. Okay, so a few things. One, what was provided to us in the mailer they send out was a little different than what we got there. One of the things in the mailer said that electricity is $50, and they need to know a week beforehand that you want electricity. I seen where by the time I booked my table, I didn't have that, that time, so I decided not to book electricity. When I got to the show, I discovered that electricity was actually available. It was actually free, but I didn't bring any of my electrical equipment, so therefore I could not partake in the beautiful free electricity. So I felt bad. Oh, Ralph says I'll be making a cameo of Randy next Tuesday.
Yes, he's coming up.
Cool. Cool. You'll have to Randy, are you gonna be sharing your studio space there?
Yes.
Are you how you guys gonna do that with headphones?
What?
Hey, you guys, you're gonna have to turn the speakers on to get another pair of headphones.
No, it's just that Viking Yoda there is going on vacation.
Ah.
He has places to be, people to do. You
know? Randy?
Yeah.
You ever had any well, I'll get to everybody on this, including you, Lola. But I guess your experience is my experience.
Lola's not talking, she's just shaking her head and jiggling.
Look at those views climbing through the roof. Maximum jiggle it.
How many iNDIEVOLTers do we have right now? Can you tell me?
8
iNDIEVOLTers or 8 people on YouTube?
8 people on YouTube, but on the iNDIEvOLT radio app, I have to sign over there.
I'm showing 8 people watching, only 3 people liking. There, I'm number 4.
Let's see here. We have 960 people listening on iNDIEvOLT radio.
Yes, we're pressing 1,000. Keep going. Tell your friends. That's awesome.
They can only hear our voices. They can't see. We had to get some ASMR.
Well, they can't see how ugly we are.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, they can't watch Lola though.
No, like we'll put a microphone like right in her cleavage or something.
There we go.
Rub together.
That's great.
Bad table neighbors. Anybody got any stories?
Nothing I haven't wiped out of my memory. I've had a couple of really good table neighbors.
I can't really think of any really bad table neighbors necessarily. I presume you're talking about something that happened to you this past weekend.
I have to mention some situations this past weekend. I've
had people running music. I've had people hawking. Really loud. Hey, Frank, come here. That kind of thing.
Yeah. I heard stories about.
That's not what happened with Varian though.
No. What happened to me was I was between. I don't think they did it on purpose, but I was between 2 friends. These guys are friends, and they work together. They collaborate together, and my table was between theirs. And what they would do was, when one would talk to a patron, he would walk that person over around my table to his buddy. And they got to the point where they're actually standing out in front of his table, addressing everybody who came down there. If I'm engaging with a customer, for you to look over, dip into the conversation. So like me and Randy could be having a conversation here, and he would just dip over and say, look for a moment to interject in the conversation. So we could be talking about, types of peanut butter. And he could say, Jiffy's the best. And that's enough to get Randy's attention. And then it's, hey, by the way, my name is, Bill, blah, blah, and this is my book.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah, that's sleazy.
Like you said, he was doing that, plus going around his table to go to this guy. Yeah. Show the photo that you posted.
Well, I don't have the photo on my computer. I'm gonna have it on my phone. But
okay.
Yeah, I did post a photo that I shared a photo. Even I sent.
He was dressed as Waldo.
Yeah. It was
where's Waldo? I'm right here. Buy my shit.
It was one of those where I don't think they meant to do it on purpose. But I think sometimes.
I'm sorry, but they may not have intellectually planned it, but they were doing it on purpose.
I think that it definitely it probably hindered my sales a bit, but the show was slow. I mean, again, I was told they gave away 700 tickets, and from talking to a vendor of comics who was right by the door and keeping a decent count, he said maybe 350 people came to that door. Aside from that, I walked outside looking for food, and
Fort Wayne's always been a good show in the past, right?
that's my first year doing it. I've heard good things about it, but I walked out into the lobby and I walked up to the Hilton because I was sure that there was food that way. And there's only a Starbucks, by the way. Who wanted $7 a cup of coffee and $4 for a dry ass scone. But there were cosplayers out there who did not have wristbands nor lanyards.
Right.
So once again, they're out there ghosting in the in the foyers and the promenades. Take pictures of me. I'm gonna go hang outside the Comic-Con. Yep. But I'm not gonna come in and buy anything. I mean, I seen cosplayers that I had not seen all weekend walking around. I'm like, I have not. You would, because the show floor was not that big. I could see all around it.
Yeah.
There was no way some of those people entered the con floor. So yeah. Now this weekend I'm headed off to SuperCon, which is in South Dakota.
Dang, what are you doing? Pack it up and leave it as soon as the show's over?
Thursday morning we're leaving, I believe. Let's see here. Ted says, I had the best table, neighbor. King was fantastic. A real treat, always set up by that kid. Yeah, he's all right until he's not making money. Then one day he's not making money, you'll see the real Caden come out. God damn it! Flip the table over. Give me the fucking promoter right now. I want my goddamn guarantee. I'm out of here at 4. I'm leaving at 4.
I think he's a little bit young to be flipping the table, isn't he?
He flips out here when he doesn't get his way. He flips out here.
What does he do? He hulks up and just flips everything out.
Oh yeah. That boy can be destructive. I've heard him, and then when Legos can't go together, forget this. I'm out of here. Ralph Griffith says, "Fantastic slipping without Marty." He says he's heard rumors. It was there were no celebrities at the show either. There were no celebrities. In fact, I had someone come to me and they were very upset because they thought that Jonathan Frakes was supposed to be there. Is that his name?
Yeah.
From Star Trek.
Yeah, he is.
Well, here's the thing. He is advertised on the site, but not for that show. See, you have to click the bio to see what show he's scheduled to be at.
They didn't have anybody at that show?
No, sir.
Wow. No wonder they didn't have very many people through the door.
Yeah, there were no celebs.
Any semi-celebs? Other than you, of course.
No, other than me, nothing. And again, I wasn't given my guarantee. I'm very upset about that. Gonna have to be.
No stipend or nothing, huh?
No stipend. My rider was completely ignored.
And you even had to pay for your table.
I think it's because I'm black, and I hate to go there, but yeah.
Wow. Very sorry to hear that, my friend.
I'm getting over it. I'm getting over the tragedy, the injustice. It was harsh when I got there, and I seen the setup, and I was way in the corner. I knew, and then this weekend, going to South Dakota, I know I'm gonna be outnumbered. I know that
there should be plenty of people of color.
Now, don't wear the hat you got on right there. They might mistake you for a buffalo.
They won't. I was looking through their convention pictures, and I'm gonna tell you guys something you might not know, and I think that other people of color can count in the chat will be able to confirm and attest to this. But when we go into a particular new environment, we count.
Does everybody count? I mean,
nope. Everybody doesn't count. We count to see how many of us there are. Like 1, 2, 3, 4, and some people are right on the bubble. You don't know if they're gonna have your back. You're like, that one maybe not. I can't tell. He's a little on the bubble. Light, bright, damn near white. Can't tell.
Get out
So-
your Pantone PMS book and start comparing shades. Is that what you do?
Yeah, I mean, but yeah, I personally, I don't.
Suntan. No. Anyway,
When I go to Comic Cons, I've never felt that. I'll be honest, I've never felt that race was an issue in my sales. And I'm glad. I'm happy about that. However, I know that my gender has been a factor in my sales because when I leave Lola at the table, I've seen sales come in. When I come back to the table and sit my happy ass down, sales decline. So I'm always happy that they have those.
I have that happen to me all the time. I don't have Lola sitting next to me though either. It still happens. People all gather around. I come back behind the table. They're all gone.
Yeah, get you a Lola, sit her right there. Have her sit there.
That was the 80s. Yes.
Yeah. She'll sit there.
We were all talking about having booth babes.
Yeah.
Back during the circle template era.
Ted Davies says, "Are you black?" Ralph Griffin says, "Knights of Columbus and Livonia pulls 250, 300 people monthly down this way. Old Extravacon."
Yep.
Yeah. They do a nice amount of people at that show. I've gone a few times when I've been bored, nothing to do at home. I go to those Extravacons. They put on by Goldman, right?
Used to be. I don't know if they still are.
And Dave
are they
says,
"Oh yes."
And then he says, "Totally true. My wife is killing it at my table, and yeah, she does. And the people love buying from women. They're more trusting." Ralph says, "LOL, very insane goes with my daughter when she comes with me." Yeah, I put my wife at the table and I leave and I come back and there's
they
money.
Talk to women because they're not used to it. And it's, oh my gosh, they're at a table. I can talk to them.
They can talk to me. I talk about
You're
comics.
not a woman.
How dare you assume my gender? I'm going to complain about this. I'm going to write the standards and practices. My gender will just assume. But yeah. Yeah, I mean, you got a point there.
You got boobage like a woman. Okay, I apologize.
There were, I remember there was a fan who liked Lola so much that even when she told him, "Okay, look, I'm married," this guy would not stop. He found her personal Facebook, found her phone number, and started calling.
Right.
As late as 3 a.m.
Mm-hmm. You've mentioned this before.
Yeah. So there is a dark side to having a booth girl. Ralph says Goldman sold that show to Bill Fade and a few others. Should have sold to Randy Zimmerman. Randy Zimmerman took those Extravacons over. Wouldn't you, Randy?
No, too far away for me. Though I don't know. I think I got my first and second. I think I met Ralph and Stu at one of those cons. I'm pretty sure I met Bill Mesner-Lobes and got my first stuff printed at one of those cons, or second stuff printed.
Mm-hmm.
First gig came from we ran out to Grand Rapids to do a con.
Mm-hmm.
Met Bill, not Bill. I don't remember now. The guy from Just Imagine Comics and Stories.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I know who you're talking about, and I can't think of his name either.
I want to say Dave Messinger, but I'm not sure. I'll have to look.
Yeah.
Question from the Ask Me Anything app. In regards to adult content in indie comics, what do you guys think defines pornography versus adult or mature content?
Well, I think it's all adult and mature content. But pornography is just a set-up word for the courts to tell you've passed the lines of decency.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody has a different level of
tolerance.
For decency. So some stuff is, if it's blasphemy and or blasphemous and goes against your set moral standards, you can look at it as pornography, or You know, other than that, it's, you know,
I
it's
think
all comics are comics.
Yeah, I think a lot of it might have to do with whether or not the I guess there possibly this person who's asking the question is thinking more of a visual rather than the story, perhaps. I don't know, but as long as the visual is serving as a purpose to the story, that's I think it's okay. But I think a lot of the times that people let the shock value, for lack of a better phrase, take them out of the story and see whether or not it actually has a purpose to being there or not. If it doesn't have something there, I don't know if I'd call it pornography, but maybe that is crossing some sort of a line if you're just doing it just for shock value.
I haven't run across a lot of comics that I would consider to be. I've seen some that might be pornographic, but I haven't seen a lot that I would consider to be all out porn.
Right.
Because they usually have a much deeper storyline.
This is Ralph says, "Yep, had to have you for the fanzine, first published Michigan creator, Booyah." And then he says, "With my comic The Dead, I tried to push those limits."
Yeah, he got in trouble in Canada at the border a couple times with the Canadians.
Yeah, he said he got banned in Canada and UK.
They had different standards.
What did you do?
But yet Kirkman could get away with it.
No, there was stuff in The Dead that was harsher than Kirkman. Kirkman's stuff is actually incredibly.
It's rather tame comparative. I know.
Was there incitation?
Even when you see like Dead Again or something. Well, the Dead, the second version of Arrow ran The Dead, and it had two covers, and one was pretty tame, and the other one was extremely gory.
The illustration, wasn't it?
Huh?
Well, the porn rule is that it becomes porn when there's insertion. So I was wondering if that was the rule that was.
The what? Say that again.
You would have to see the covers, and I will tell you now, you don't want to post the covers here, because YouTube would pull your video.
It becomes porn.
That's how porny and gory they were.
It becomes porn when there's insertion.
But they did become very, very popular once people saw the cover. A lot of times at conventions, they would keep it hidden, and they'd like, "You want to see the gory cover? Whoop whoop."
So just sex and gore, titty biting, titty biting.
My favorite one was giving a new definition to the word "eating out."
Oh God, I can just imagine. Never mind. Oh. Who drew it?
Jason.
Jason Moore.
Yeah.
Conspicuous by his absence tonight.
You would have to see the cover. You know, but it was pressing those lines, yeah. But that's what The Dead was for. That's why you do a zombie book, is to show gore. It's just that, like when Ralph says, when you mix gore, when you mix gore with sex,
stars with sex, that's not good either.
We had people get mad at the second Dead World cover because it had a guy with his guts hanging out from the rib cage down. That's what started the variant. That's what started the variant cover. Dead World started offering a tame and a gore cover after that,
which I had nothing to do with. That was
back in '86. So figure that out, all you Marvel and DC freaking historians. Anyway,
do you think that at some point, well, with the comics that you guys are doing, if you would have had a bigger budget, do you think that they would have come to shut you guys down? Like,
no,
because you've seen Tipper Gore stand there with your comic, like, this here is the problem.
Maybe with the second run of The Dead, if some of that had gotten out, but I don't even think so. We kind of pressed it with The Dead with the third version of Arrow that was out. Only that was more in the writing, a little bit more in the visuals. But we had a hell of a visual artist on that too, by the name of Matt Mason, who really kicked ass for the 3 issues that he worked on the book.
It says the news came out.
News.
I guess he's saying the news came out to talk to you guys about it.
Oh, did they? For the Dead World or for the Dead? We could find all that out next week when Ralph is up here.
Yeah, and they did a report. He says, yeah, and they did a report.
We can talk about that.
I gotta figure out how to get the sound back into my. Oh, that might be a little rough too. I got to figure out how to get Ralph hooked up there.
That's all I was mentioning. How you're gonna get 2 headphones, but
I might have to.
You gotta do a splitter. Not hard. Do you know what kind of comics your kids are reading? Excuse me.
I know what kind of comics I recommend for your kids to be reading, and I'll be doing some more of that this Thursday, but that's beside the point.
I recommend that your children read all these 90s X-Men comics that I just bought. I bought a ton of them.
That's always been part of the problem with comics, is the parents never keep track of what the kids are reading.
Mm-hmm. So, I bought a ton of them. I bought a bunch of old.
Kept track of what I was reading. Of course, they actually sat there and maybe put stuff back if they didn't approve of it. So,
yeah. But I've had kids buy Spank #2 from me at a show, and I've made sure that it was all right with the parents.
Mm-hmm.
And I've never had a parent tell their kid, "No, you can't buy that."
You know, that's interesting. You mentioned that because
we let him read whatever he wants, and then if he has any questions, we just explain it to him.
I used to have these Mardi Gras beads Lola and I would give out at Comic-Cons, and just had Tipsy on them and the logo on the other side. Well, at that time we had a beer mug featured predominantly in our logo, and I would always tell children, "Hey, could you go ask your mom and dad if you can have that first?" And I never had an issue with that. Parents would always come say, "Yeah, sure, they can have it." She's got shirts of Budweiser on the back. And you start thinking about that, all those sponsored shirts that you get from free places. Sometimes they have beer companies around the back, and kids are wearing them. And yeah. Let's see here. Ralph says, "Not about this new company re-entering the market." I wonder if, Randy, if back in the 90s, and Lewis, you probably answered this too, and Lola, you're old enough, maybe not. Lola's the youngest person on the broadcast. When you have kids reading your books, are you aware of that when you're writing it? Are you scared that, oh man, kids aren't reading this book, I don't really want them to?
Depends on which title it is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, see, I haven't had to worry about the last 10 years because I was putting the Flint comics together. It was always family friendly.
Mm-hmm.
But before that, I didn't write with the thought that some kid's going to pick this up. I always wrote with the idea that if I didn't want a kid to read it, I'd just stick adults only, please.
Mm-hmm.
Sticker on it and let it go.
Mm-hmm.
Ted says, "I have 11 and 12-year-olds reading Retrieve, parent approved."
That's reasonable.
Yeah, 11, 12-year-olds should be fine. Gosh, I think I had Sword of Conan when I was like 4 or 5 years old. And I told you guys the story of that. My aunt and her friends colored in them because they're black and white books, and they thought they could use a little color.
They were all coloring books to them.
Yeah.
I had strict parents wouldn't let me read superhero stories because they thought it was too violent.
Mm-hmm.
So
show them a Conan, then they know what violence is, right?
Around when they caught me reading a Twilight Zone digest, and it had Satan in it. So they made the deal: don't buy this satanic stuff again, and we'll let you buy superheroes. I said okay, and went out and bought Son of Satan. Not too long after that, yeah. Marvel. That was back when Marvel was going through their big supernatural phase when they actually had 5 or 6 different versions of Satan running through their book.
Yeah,
Mephisto.
Lola, your dad was a Spider-Man fan, but you knew about comics. Your favorite character is Nightcrawler, right?
Didn't read any comics though.
You got the sound off.
Yeah, she said she didn't read any comics, not until she met me. But
Just like the pictures.
Yeah, she just now she reads a lot of comics. Now she's always reading you know, especially Harley Quinn stuff. Which, you know, I'm sorry, Randy. Who?
That's
Oh, Witchblade. Yeah, Witchblade. Anita Blake.
Witchblade?
Yeah,
Not that Blade.
Witchblade. That Blade.
Yeah.
And
A question for Lola.
yeah,
You read the Anita Blake comics. Did you read the novels before the comics?
No. I just read what he had laying around.
and then she went and bought the rest that I didn't have. Yeah, she never read the novels.
Yeah, because I would read the novels. The comics are kind of, okay, you got a sword, so
I got a Templar sword, and it's not just any sword. I'm on a holy quest to revive comics. I
thought you were overcompensating me for something.
No.
Since you were saying I was questioning about your gender there, I just thought maybe you were overcompensating.
Well, it's already been out as a mini clicker, so. So yeah. Oh, what's this? My ex burned all my Ghost Riders because she thought they were devil inspired. Yikes.
It's one of for all the comics, period.
Yikes. Devil inspired, huh? Ghost Rider. Well, I mean,
I own a copy of that Twilight Zone digest now. That I had to burn.
yeah.
Yeah, I went out and got it again.
Like recently or
with the last
shortly after?
6 years. Yeah.
Okay. I thought you went out and bought it
No, I
again.
ran across it at a show. I said, "Hey, I think I remember this," and I flipped through it. And I said, "Yes, absolutely, I need this." I still haven't found the copy of Batman Annual, though. I had my ass whipped with a coal shovel for having on in the house. Back
Batman?
when I was superheroes, yeah.
Randall Zimmerman, the only person to get his ass whipped over Batman.
That has nothing to do with my current feelings about Batman. I guarantee
Yes, it does. That's why you dislike Batman.
But I do love Dick Sprang. So
look, I'm sorry, I can't hear the name Dick Sprang without laughing.
it was a simpler time, my friend.
Dick Sprang.
Or he would have signed it Richard Sprang.
Yeah.
I bet he got picked on a lot when he was a kid, though.
Dick Sprang is here.
That's why all of the superhero characters, Peter Parker, Richard Rider, Dick Rider.
Yeah, he is Dick Rider, isn't he?
Giant sized man thing.
Yep. And Kitty Pryde, Dick Peters.
Peter Porker.
Yeah.
You know the thing about that. Peter Parker is a sexual term, isn't it? I parked my Peter here. I'm a Peter Parker.
It's like Richard Rider.
Mm-hmm. I kind of always wanted my name to be like Richard Brown. That'd have been cool. I could have been Dave's brother. His name was Brown.
Richard Noggin.
Dick Noggin?
Richard Noggin. Make you a dickhead.
It's Richard Noggin. I'm signing all my R like that way from now on. Richard Noggin.
He had to have it explained to him.
Yeah.
If you got to explain it, joke's not worth it.
Yeah, it was. I'm slow on the uptake. I'm actually battling some type of illness. It's slowly killing me on the inside. Who knows? Maybe what you call it? South Dakota, my last con. So get those books now, ladies and gentlemen. Get those signatures now on that art.
Con. Yeah, you might not last. I mean, I've driven that way before.
Mm-hmm.
Just try to stay awake. That's all I can tell you.
There was a dream. There was a dream floated that, hey, we can see Mount Rushmore while we're in South Dakota. But
you drive to the other side of the freaking state.
Yeah. It's 5 hours away from where we're going. So
it's only a 5-hour drive. Yeah.
Yeah. No. I'll see those old guys some other time. We'll see the Crazy Horse monument though. That'd be pretty cool.
They're not as big as you think they are. Same thing with Crazy Horse.
Yeah.
And Crazy Horse isn't all there yet, so they're still constructing on it as they get the money.
Yeah, Ralph Griff says Con Crud. Yeah, this is Con Crud. Con Crud, or as I've heard it and indelicately put, Artist Alley AIDS. I've heard it called that too, Artist Alley AIDS. I'm like, what?
What are you doing that you're on this alley AIDS? I mean, this is not. That's.
Like, I don't want it. I don't want it.
What are you doing? You know.
Well, you know, hey, listen. If you're not getting table and you got to go out to Reggie doing it, yeah. if you got to go out to the parking lot and get somebody a handy dandy.
Yeah, that's a handy dandy, all right.
We're going to talk about our porn career. Luckily, it's 10 o'clock, though.
Yeah. I can put up the. Let's see here.
TV 14, sorry.
Yeah. We are now TV 14. Lola just stretched at 10:14 moment. Don't be trying to act like you sleepy. You ain't sleepy. Nah.
No, TV 14 was so that you just get it larger. So
They just get larger. We have a
jiggle by the minute.
Let's see here if I got anything.
5 ties for every jiggle. Ladies and gentlemen.
That'd be nice, but the Ask Me Anything app. Okay. Okay, Randy, do you ever take any? Have you ever considered taking any art or any of the signage from the Four-Mile Nature Preserve?
Have I taken any?
Yeah.
I've got the entire third season here.
No, but have you ever, like the signage they put up in the big we put them up on the channel a couple of weeks ago. Remember when we were showing some of the signage they printed out?
Yeah.
And
the park itself.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got the whole third trail.
Oh, do you?
Yeah, okay. They were going to toss it. I said, don't toss it. I'll take it. And then I don't know what I'm going to do with it. But I've got it here. It's all laminated and it's still in good shape.
Mm-hmm. That's cool.
It's rolled up. I thought about putting it up on eBay, but who knows what it is, you know?
Yeah.
Somebody in your area that might want it, but I
doubt it. I can't sell the artwork at shows. So nobody's asked for a commission of the stuff, though I promised the GISD people I would do a group shot for them, probably paint it when I get the time for them to put in the treehouse. So, but other than that, I've got originals here. I take to shows. Everybody looks at it, and you know, I take it to teach classes, and the kids ooh and ah over it. Here's the original cover for the Preservers #2 book, that kind of thing. And
other than that,
they're just happy to look at it, and you know, well, that looks cool. The book's free. Give me, you know.
Mm-hmm. Give me that free book you got, sir. Is it free?
Is it free? That's what they call that. That's what Curtis at Amazing Comics calls the ideal Flint price point. It's free.
It's free. Let's see here.
Now that we've gone through second printings, those first printings, you know, might actually be worth a little something. So you never know.
Yeah. Randy,
I'll let time collectors and eBay handle all that.
Have you ever met a speculator?
Yeah.
Who hasn't?
Yeah.
I don't know if I ever met one. I'm pretty sure I have, but
I used to sell comics. I met my wife working at a comic shop.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I've met quite a few speculators. People that would buy multiple copies, you know, 5 to 10 copies at a time. Apparently there's a lot more of those keeping the retailers afloat than ever. So they seem to be helping to keep the retailers alive, especially now that we have the variant boom where you have to buy 25 of a comic in order to get the one chase variant. So they're willing to pay the price of those 25 books from the retailer just to get that one chase variant, even though the retailer's stuck with the other 25 books. So, but he makes out, he breaks even, he applies that cost to that variant cost, and the speculator keeps him alive.
I don't imagine.
He's got more firewood or dollar comics, so it's all good.
I know that I normally get, like, when I'm going to boxes of comics at shows, I usually get really, really terrified that I'm going to find my own in there somehow.
I do. I find it.
Yeah.
Every once in a while, I buy them.
Yeah, you buy your own.
They are 50 cents or $1. Like, hey, I can use an extra one of these.
Mm-hmm. I wish I could find more of my old stuff, but I'm not in Michigan or Ohio or Indiana where most of the stuff will be found if it's out there. So
Ralph Griffin says variant and CGC keeping retailers alive.
Yeah, that's good too. Yeah, CGC. Glorified baseball cards. It's all good.
Well, he's watching I was watching the Monster Channel and the old black and white movie The Black Scorpion.
Yeah, at least it's not the TV show.
The Black Scorpion. Do you guys so Randy, you're done with cons for the year. Lewis, you got any appearances coming up?
I'm not totally done. I'm done coordinating them for the year. I'm going to be at Grand Rapids Con first week in November.
Oh yeah, you got that, yeah.
Yeah, I'll probably do a Halloween comic book day appearance or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
At Scratch and Spin here in Columbia, probably.
Mm-hmm.
Probably do something after Thanksgiving, possibly as well. I don't know for sure yet.
Yoda says he might do that Casino Con. Viking Yoda.
Mm-hmm.
Casino Con. Oh, chips. What was it? I was gonna say
Mount Pleasant.
Yeah.
So it's got an eagle that's soaring.
I'll be at the Black Power and Comics Convention. I was invited to go down there.
When is that on us at Soaring Eagle?
October 19th, right?
I don't know. I think so.
Yeah, Lola says yes.
Okay, then I definitely won't be making that one.
October 19th for the now let's see here. Guys, I want to ask you a question about something I've seen. We had a conversation about me and another guy. Says that, and we talked about this before. We talked about Diamond not wanting the indie guys in their book, in their solicitation. And I was asked by a guy at a con at Indiana, what I was taught. I was out of my mind. What kind of business model will that be? What kind of business model is it in a company that doesn't want to make money? He also doesn't believe that Marvel is hurting as badly as they are because they got the mouse money now to play with, and on top of that, that again, nobody goes into business to lose money. What do you guys think about that?
Well, I don't think Disney is looking at Marvel Comics, the publishing end of it, as being a money-generating business.
Yeah, I'd say that's...
Or they would be concentrating more on what they're doing instead of flooding the market and, and watching their quality control a lot closer.
Is Disney maybe just looking at Marvel as a way to, hey, you keep those IPs?
Yeah, it's an IP farm.
Yeah, and constant, rotation and circulation, so that we don't lose the copyright on them.
I can almost promise you that's why Hulk suddenly became a Korean kid. Why they're not creating new IPs and generating new characters, which would be the obvious thing, is beyond me. I think who's the last new character that actually got a book? Squirrel Girl? Maybe Ms. Marvel came along after that.
Oh, Ironheart, but yeah.
Oh yeah, Ironheart. You have a point. Yep.
Well, when you say new, do you mean something that's not derivative of something that was already existing?
That's not going to happen.
I mean, because they got the new character Wave, I think her name is.
They're working on what's his face and the the J Squad. What is it, Captain Jock Justice and the J Squad?
Yeah, right. I know there's a Filipino character.
J-Team.
Yeah, I don't. Let me see if I can find it real quick.
DC just added a new character to the Justice League, but they're not giving her own book, are they?
I don't believe so. I don't believe. I think DC wants to keep their amount of books they're releasing down, at least for the next year or so.
They still have to survive the executive meeting at the end of October,
which is going to be a big news day for us. Fire sale at DC. All characters $500.
That might be a very big news for comicdom in general. You know,
Yeah, it's a Filipino hero called Wave, and it kind of looks like what if Mara had black hair and swords.
Ralph says I always buy mine back from dollar boxes.
yeah.
Hey, says I'm with you, Zimmerman, and Ralph says, "What did you fellas think of Amazon's The Boys?" I've seen a couple episodes, and
Haven't the TV show.
yeah,
I like Carl Urban a lot, but I have not watched The Boys.
I've seen 2 episodes. Lola, I think we got the 2 episodes so far. It's not that many episodes. We should just go ahead and finish watching it.
I think there's 8 out, if I'm not mistaken. But I got tricked into getting Amazon Prime. Apparently, hit the wrong button or something, and I still never watched it. So I don't have Amazon Prime anymore.
Randy,
I have a DVR. So, and not a whole lot of time to watch the genre shows as it is, let alone stuff that's on Netflix or Amazon Prime. I'm sorry, I just haven't been able to get to them.
Okay, Ask Me Anything says
I'm still on Game of Thrones.
Is it weird for someone to ask you for nudes of your character?
Yes.
Yeah.
Next question.
I want to know what mouth breather. I want to know what my is like. Hello.
Wiggling.
I love I love your character. Oh yeah.
Hey,
is there a way that yeah you can get me those nude shots of your character? I want to see Spark. I want to see her naked. Yeah.
Never had anybody ask for Spark naked back in the 80s, 85, 86. Sue Van Camp and I were getting a lot of requests for naked Mischievouses and Gandans.
Mischievous, maybe, but
quite a few.
Ew.
And I've drawn maybe a half dozen at most. It commissions at cons and after cons.
Mischievous is the cat.
Yeah, she's a black cat.
Oh, she's a color. She's a cat of color.
Yeah.
COC a cock. T14's in the corner. I can say what I want. Where you going, Lola? I don't know where she's going. She's over there. Oh, she must want to. Okay, she's not there. But yeah, I guess I know the furry thing is pretty big. I know that there are people who have had.
We were the first one to have perverts.
Yeah.
Maybe the guy who does Albedo, he probably had a few requests.
Ralph Griffith says, I think that creators are worried to give the company their best ideas.
Well, we'll find that out after a while. If this crowdfunding stuff keeps going,
yeah,
we'll have people who have good ideas. My wife's coming down the stairs right now. Might as well walk in, say hello. Just walk past the camera.
Sorry, KFC had to slip me one of their little.
Hi, everybody.
Hello.
Marian's got his KFC.
Yeah, they slipped me one of those cinnamon covered biscuits.
Cinnamon covered biscuit.
Yeah, it looks like someone splooged on my biscuit. I don't know if I like that.
I don't. Somebody in there.
Definitely getting into TV14 territory.
Yeah. If this is the old Monday Night Wars, that would have been splooge.
Oh, that's just sugar.
Yeah, that's what they call it now. Pour some sugar on me.
They call honey.
Ted says Archimedes is already nude. LOL. Yeah, I mean robots though. You know what? I picked up a comic years ago when I was reading through one of those little was it Worlds of Westfield or it was one of those little magazines. And they had listings for comics. And one of the comics was a book called Mantra. Okay. And I'll never forget because it was from the Ultraverse.
Yeah.
It said that the assassin gets killed and comes back in the body of a woman.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm flipping through the books in Indiana, and I found Mantra number 1.
Mm-hmm.
And then they didn't have any new copies except for like 8 and so forth. So I picked up Mantra number 1 and like 8 and 9, 10, 11, so on and so forth. But I think it got all the way down to like 28 or something. But
it last that long?
Yeah, they had a 28.
Okay.
They were Ultraverse was running pretty good numbers until Rosenberg sold Malibu to Marvel. Then they shut them down.
Right. I just remember it lasting that long. That's all.
There's okay. So in the book, and I'm spoiler warning, but in the book, the guy who gets killed, he ends up, he comes back in the body of a black guy, and he's like, "Oh, I'm black again," and he goes to the door and he opens the door, and there's this, pretty busty white woman standing there, and he's like, you know, uh, oh, jackpot, this is great. My wife, this is my wife. This is awesome. And then his real wife shows up, like, no, that's your wife. And he's like, oh, darn, lucked out. He didn't look like, he's like, oh, crap. It sucks. And I thought, that today could never go in a comic. You could never have a guy get mad because the wife isn't the busty, buxom, attractive woman. Mm-hmm. And the other woman wasn't unattractive. She just had short hair and let's see. Holy Captain Justice?
Looked like a milkshake girl. Yeah. Captain Justice was an idea that we were doing actually in Fantastic Fanzine. We did Corona, which was a really bad superhero strip that we jazzed up and made a lot of fun of. At the end of the first episode I wrote, he got zapped by a ray and got changed into a girl.
Mm.
Bill Loebs ended up doing that with Dr. Fate.
I seen
him into a girl for a while.
I seen an ad for Fate, and one of the books I got in there says the Doctor is out. It's just Fate now. It's just back in the 90s. I guess they dropped the Doctor apart from his name and just called him Fate.
Well, they tried to keep that title alive by doing a lot of various things. So,
what do you guys think about advertising in indie comics? Is that something that we need to try to get better at or put more money into? Sorry for burping into the mic if everybody heard that.
Well, if I was doing Zim Geek on a regular basis and with a regular turnout of product, I was seriously thinking about advertising the Alterna books.
Mm-hmm.
I like their reach and I like their prices. So,
how about you, Lewis?
Yeah.
As far as indie ads go, are you going to be when you start working on Blake and Tara? Are you going to start soliciting ads?
I'm not level now. But if I was in a monthly comic, I might.
Mm-hmm. How many pages are you looking to make that book?
192 to 224, something in that range.
Yikes! All by yourself?
Yeah.
Well, I better hire some.
I'm trying to get a colorist, but
nah, you better hire some of those roughers from Fiverr. That's what I'm gonna do. My next book, they're gonna rough all it in, and I'm gonna come.
I don't need roofers.
Rougher or fluffer?
I'll hire a fluffer from Fiverr.
You don't need a fluffer.
No, I don't need a fluffer. I'm good. I'm out there. I don't need a fluffer.
Look, I got your fluffers right here.
It's funny because she woke me up today and pulled me up, and for some reason I was out of it because I've been on NyQuil 44 severe. I've been like taking shots of it, and for some reason she picked me up, and the only thing I could see was like there was something hanging above my head, so I batted at it to get it out of my eyesight.
Like
Turns out it's her breast. I'm just batting at it. I felt really bad once I realized what it was. Cross advertising is a must do, says Ralph Griffith, as well as ads in each other's books can only help.
Help raise awareness because not everybody's buying every book.
I talked to a publisher who told me he'll never run another company's ads in his books. Ever.
Everybody runs their companies their own way. That's part of being independent.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Sometimes I think we're too busy trying to be the mainstream than what brought us to the dance and really enjoying that freedom that being an indie publisher or indie creator gives us, not working in the system.
I just think it's funny the mainstream's now pulling down numbers that we used to pull down at Arrow Comics.
Mm-hmm.
I find funny.
Yeah.
Better. I sold more Tales from the Anniverse number 3s than Madge Visaggio sold of her last book.
Mm-hmm.
They, very sensibly canned miniseries, got one issue out.
Yeah.
Actually, 5 times more. I'm not counting.
Lewis, you got something to say? I heard a sigh. I heard an exasperated sigh.
Pick somebody else, Randy, that you're going to pick on. Okay?
I'm not picking on her as a person. I'm just picking on her numbers.
Why, though? I mean, let's be honest. Everybody's bitching about Vertigo going away. And the reality is, if it wasn't for the 10 British boys.
Mags have a book on Vertigo? I don't think so.
Yeah, she did. Before.
The who?
Before they closed it down, she did have one.
What was it?
I don't remember the name of it right now.
I wasn't aware of it. You don't know the title of it?
I can look it up.
Well, how does she pronounce her name again?
I'm pretty sure I'd be surprised if she had.
Visaggio.
I don't know why you're getting so defensive.
No, the reason I'm getting defensive is because I'm tired of your jackass Zach and Ethan Van Scumbag ripping up so-called SJWs when the fucking reality is they're the ones who fucking are the poison of this fucking industry.
That SJWs
on Thursday, so be there.
SJWs? I'm not going to be there, dude.
There's
I actually worked for a living.
There's let's see here. Was it Maryland Manor? Was that?
No,
that's not her.
Eternity Girl. I was looking for her in Vertigo stuff, but
I'm pretty sure there wasn't one. I mean, we could switch it to Quinn. What was her name? Heather Quinn?
Zoe
Quinn.
Okay, whatever.
Switch it to Zoe Quinn.
I want to know what's buying my
first
book.
name that came into mind. I don't know why you're so overly defensive about the problem with the SJWs in the market. They're the ones responsible for the low numbers with the main.
That's the fucking point, Randy. They're not the problem.
You need to go back and look at the numbers, buddy. That's all.
That. It's the asshole attitude of people like Ethan, people like your boy Zach Richard Meyer.
I don't know where you're thinking that's attitude, dude. They're just looking at numbers.
No, it's attitude.
It's numbers. It's money. It's numbers. It's a business, dude. It's not a political soapbox. It's a business, especially with the bigger companies. These mainstream books need to start pulling down mainstream numbers instead of catering to people over and over again, politicizing and jumping on the same political soapbox, selling the same low numbers.
Okay, then so they should have closed down Vertigo, what, 15, 20 fucking years ago?
No, Vertigo was different back then.
No, it wasn't.
Andy Curry was the one that let those people in.
No, sorry, you're wrong.
I'm not wrong. I used to read Vertigo, dude.
Look at the issue of the company, Randy. You get rid of Neil Gaiman, Grant Morrison, Warren Ellis, Garth Ennis, Jamie Delano, and a couple of other white boys from Britain, and all the other books don't sell because they're by women. They're by
no. You're just naming people with talent. That's all. You just listed off a whole group of people that actually had talent. You bring in people that have talent. It doesn't matter what their political standing is, what their ability. It all comes down to skill and ability. And if you have the talent to write these books correctly, you're going to gain your audience, just like Gaiman did with Sandman.
So when Ann Nocenti wrote Kid Eternity and it went nowhere, that's because Annie doesn't know how to write?
No, I have no idea. I didn't read that book. But Ann Nocenti does know how to write because she's written for a number of years. I don't know why you're getting so defensive. You need to get off your high horse and actually get an education as to what's going on in the market.
Oh, please.
Because these people you haven't printed shit since 2011.
All you've done is
you better get an idea about what's going on in the market.
I can't hear Lewis. I'm sorry, Randy. What'd you say? Or Lewis, what'd you say?
And all he's done is this little comic magazine in Flint.
Well, I mean,
what have you done, buddy? What have you done? What have you done? Nothing. You haven't done nothing.
I haven't done anything?
No, not since 2011.
No, I've
printed 1 million books since then. I printed 1 million copies of a paper that was actually read. So shut up, get off your high horse, and get an education.
I don't know if I don't know if comics need the I mean, with the numbers being what they are currently, if we do have people who are
Comicron, that's all you got to look at.
but can
You
we
see
trust
what
Comicron's numbers?
Pardon?
Can we trust Comicron's numbers?
You can trust Comicron numbers as the numbers going to the retailer, not the numbers that are going to the consumer, because those are a lot less.
And is there anybody who can get us the numbers from the consumer? I mean, obviously, you talk to your store owners and they'll tell us, "Oh, no, I'm not moving that book at all."
Yeah.
Because really, they don't care once the books is out of out of their hands
or out of the warehouses.
Well, right, they don't.
No, that the objective of the retailer is to get it out of that box and out of their store.
And now
that's been the big problem is the retailers don't want to order crap.
Mm-hmm.
They want to have books in there that they know they can sell to their audience base. A lot of that stuff isn't being provided because it's it's looked at as political or SJW, high horse, progressive, whatever you want to call it.
I don't know if
it's out there, and because people pull that up, all of a sudden they're branded as pariahs in the industry. People start pointing the problems out, and all of a sudden they're the pariahs, they're the problems, they're the reason the industry sucks. That's not the reason. The reason is because the books suck, not because somebody's pointing at it and going, that book sucks.
Mm-hmm.
You ask the retailers, they'll tell you. That's why Vertigo failed.
Mm-hmm. Why do you think, to be fair, why do you think that Marvel is aware, or Disney is aware of the problem besides making an IP, it's an RP, wow, an IP farm? Do you guys think that, like, why is it that Disney is okay with that, but Warner Brothers isn't? Is it because Disney has a bigger piggy bank than Warner Brothers?
That goes back to Marvel's attitude about the retailers. They don't care. That's why they're flooding the market with anything they can get their hands on. That's why they doubled their output. And DC has decided to cut back because they actually want to concentrate on a little quality. And they need to rebrand. AT&T's told them that they want to make books that make money.
So go back to the old standards. You can have another Wonder Woman reboot, another Flash reboot, Batman, Superman, Green Lantern,
whatever they have to do. Yeah, whatever they have to do.
So what?
Yeah, I don't know, man. I've got in my long box over there, I've got a couple different long boxes. I've got about 4 different reboots, but it's fine. I mean, it's.
What do you mean by reboots?
Well, I mean, when New 52, what is it? Rebirth, these soft reboots, and then Crisis.
Okay, those things. Okay.
Yeah. I don't think that they have.
They're not really reboots per se, but.
I mean, they wipe a lot. Yeah, we wipe out the continuity. I mean, some of it anyway. They found a way to bring it back, though. I mean,
yeah, every time you turn around, they're bringing back the stuff from the old continuity anyway. I don't know why.
Yeah. They gotta wipe it out again. This wasn't a good idea to bring this in. We're gonna get rid of it. We got 8 Superboys again. We need to get rid of one of them. Do you guys think that because of these low numbers, though, that we should adjust our perspective in the indie market? If Marvel was only bringing in what Arrow used to bring in, should we on the indie market then decide, well, my numbers are going to be a lot lower than that then?
No, they shouldn't be that much lower. What you need to do is bitch smack the damn retailers into understanding their damn jobs.
You're going to bitch smack the retailer.
Well, yeah, I would tell them, hey, make sure my book is out there.
That'll be real successful.
Well, you could tell the retailer, look, could you make sure that my book is up, set aside next to those?
That your book won't sell when they never even carry it in the store, Randy. And you go right down the street to a music shop and you're selling 600 copies of your book, which is what I used to do in the 90s.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see it.
Let's see what?
You sell 600 copies of a book at a music store. When did this happen?
92 and 93 and 94 when I was at Central Michigan University.
Says our store owners will sell whatever he knows he can move.
Exactly.
They should be in the house. They should be.
It's not what they know they can move. It's what they can move with the least amount of effort. So
now you not only want to bitch slap the retailers, you're calling them lazy.
You're damn right.
Well, Some of them are lazy. They got artist humps. They don't even draw.
They got what?
They got some of them are lazy. They got artist humps and they don't even draw.
You know, is when I was at Central Michigan, and I was doing stuff all throughout Michigan and Indiana and Ohio. We go to a comic shop and they'd say, "Well, we can't sell your book because it's black and white," or "We can't sell your book because it's not the right size format," because a lot of our books were cut at 8.5 by 11 instead of the 6.25 by 10 3/4 normal size. And we know we can't sell that. And I'd go, "Okay, that's how you want to be." I'd go right next door to the music shop, explain the situation, and they would carry these books and they'd be out selling the stuff, X-Men, whatever was their top sellers at the comic shop. And the comic shop owner would get angry.
Well, if that's the case, then why isn't everybody selling books at the music shop?
That's a damn good question. Why aren't comic retailers going, or comic creators going to music shops and stores? And
I think we need to find new avenues. I mean, the internet is one, but
I think, I think that's what crowdfunding's about. I think that's one of the reasons why I was doing my paper.
Yeah.
Sure.
Find new means to get the books out there to people. If the comic shops won't support you, I mean, here's the thing: if I'm a comic shop owner and I hear there's a book out there that's moving copies, I'm gonna track it down. I'm gonna order it. I'm gonna get it in my store. Now,
it. A lot of retailers if Diamond doesn't carry it.
Right.
Well, I don't want to go online to go get it and bring it to my store. It's too much effort. That's what I'm talking about by being lazy.
Now, what's the benefit though
to do that? We've been trying to build like this is what Peter Smitty's trying to do with Alterna is give an alternative distributor so you can get all that kind of content that Diamond doesn't carry.
I have a question though. I have a question for you guys, and I've thought about this, and I've tried to figure it out, and I will have a retailer on at some point to talk to us about that. But at this point, what is the benefit to the retailer of ordering from Diamond besides a discount that you can get from the publisher himself?
You can't get it from the retailer's not going to get it from the publisher directly. It's an indie guy, but you're not getting it from Marvel or DC direct.
Well, yeah, they can't get it from them, but is that the only benefit that you can?
Retailers only care about the Marvel and DC stuff because that's what sells.
I just wonder.
Help sell Vertigo.
Vertigo is poor company. I miss Vertigo. I got some Vertigo books over there, and every time I look at them, I'm like, oh, that sucks. And now they be collector's items. Now I'm rich. I put Caden through college with my Vertigo books, my Vertigo book collection.
With Vertigo?
Come on, Sandman.
Yeah, which Vertigo?
Yeah,
Sandman's coming, buddy. Sandman's coming.
Well, I don't know which Vertigo. Actually.
Order Town, though. Don't wait for that movie. Don't wait for that adaptation. Goddess mode. Don't wait for that. Don't wait for that.
Did you think?
The only things what from Vertigo has been adapted in the film other than Preacher?
Reds, Losers.
Yeah.
Watchmen. Well, not Watchmen. Watchmen wasn't Vertigo.
Yeah. Red.
What was the first two you said?
Red and the Losers.
Red and the
Losers.
Yeah. Okay, I remember those now. Okay.
Yeah. Losers is actually pretty good. Pretty damn good. I like that movie, and I got the book. So,
apparently didn't make a lot of money.
No, even though it had Chris Evans in another amazing elevator scene. Chris Evans does a great elevator scenes. If I ever have Chris Evans in the movie, he's getting in the damn elevator and he's gonna show me the magic. Ralph says many would just as soon as deal with one distributor. Yeah, I mean the ease of payment is there. I mean, I don't want to deal with these. I don't want to.
Retailers have been conditioned over the years to only want one distributor because Diamond has been out there constantly pushing and trying to maintain their exclusives.
And yet,
letting the market widen out.
Or at least some of them are smart enough to do distributions for other content that they carry, like role-playing games or other stuff through other distributors.
Diamond started their own role-playing game distributorship, right? Alliance.
Yeah,
they bought Alliance.
Yeah.
Now, I was told, and I'm understanding this from me and Randy had a conversation earlier, this to not be true anymore. I was told that you could not and should not, if you're just being distributed through Diamond, offer your comics to a brick and mortar store outside of your Diamond.
That is supposedly the policy.
If it is, I'm not aware of it.
Well, I guess it's a silent policy.
Mhm.
There was always an undertone when we tried to distribute, when Jack Kammerer tried to distribute, I've got their sticker up here somewhere, the USC something.
Mhm.
Diamond just quietly told everybody, all the independent guys, that they don't want to go with us because they don't want to risk losing their minimums, because they had minimums, well, they still do, that they won't give you a purchase order on if you drop below your minimum amount ordered.
Mhm. I mean, I just seen a publisher go out and say, "Hey, my retailer portal's open," you
Mhm.
know, and they're in Diamond. You know, if you've got a brick and mortar store, please put your orders through there. That's
Mhm.
going to hurt your Diamond minimums.
I wouldn't be surprised if somebody like Dark Horse or IDW quietly does that as well and offers a retail outlet that they can, direct to the retailer.
Yeah.
I'd be surprised if they didn't.
That's bad. That's
Maybe we should check and see. So
yeah, I think Mitch does the same thing.
Yeah, I know that on the old Last Call Comics site, I had a subscription based form where you could get each copy of a book as it was
coming out.
So like when we were getting ready to ship, I'm just gonna use an example, Catharsis 2 or Retrieve 2, you already subscribed to that book, you will get an email notifying you will be charged on this date for this book, and we'll send it to you. But that's completely different than distribution. That was directly to the consumer.
Right.
And I just feel like, seeing people do that, it's kind of shocking that people are actually,
well, the thing is, there's so many brick and mortar accounts potentially that Diamond won't service small to appease what Diamond's minimums are for Diamond. Mm-hmm. So you as a publisher have a right and a responsibility to reach out to those audiences if they really want to buy your product.
I wouldn't yeah. I mean, do you know, Randy, is there any difference? I mean, that it's out there clearly without, it being a secret. Is there any difference between what Marvel pays for an ad and previews versus what an indie guy pays?
I am not privy to that information. I would imagine there is, because that would fall under the exclusive to non-exclusive status.
Mm-hmm.
So I would think that Marvel does get a discount on their advertising, but I do not know that for sure.
Plus,
all of their exclusives probably do.
And you got to remember that all the exclusives are probably putting multiple ads in, so they're getting a discount on that, if nothing else, probably.
Yeah. Ralph says, and with exclusive Marvel and DC to Diamond, a new distributor is in a true uphill battle.
Yes, they are. That's always been the problem.
Yeah, does anybody know if TKO was distributed through Diamond?
TKO?
Yeah. TKO Comics Press. I think they're. We did an unboxing for them, but I think they're.
Oh, is that? I think I know who you're talking about. No, I don't think they're with Diamond.
Yeah, I don't know if they're distributed Diamond, but they got.
That's the one that does the Fearsome Dr. Fang, right?
Yes. And their books are actually a bit larger cut than the standard books, so that probably eliminates them right there.
Yeah.
I can't fit your book. I gotta go get those Golden Age.
Well, if you don't fit the size of a Diamond box, Diamond won't carry you. That much I know for sure.
I believe it could fit, but it would just be a tight fit. Yeah, I don't know.
You have to be floppy size or pretty close. So if you can't fit straight in, they have to put you sideways. If you're bigger on the top of the box, then you're risking a lot of damage.
Yeah, they're not. I don't know who they are. Yeah, because I get, that was kind of their whole thing when they launched too, was to be an alternative to how people picked up comics. They wanted to go straight to consumer. They didn't want to deal with Diamond and the distribution model Diamond had set up. Mm-hmm. Is Diamond silly?
How's that going for them?
I mean, pretty well, I assume. I mean, I've heard nothing but good things about the comics. I've read a lot of them. They sent me some here for iNDIEvOLT to review. They are good quality books. Garth Ennis wrote one along with what's her name? Last name is Brightweiser.
Yeah, Elizabeth. It's Elizabeth. are Steve Epting and Elizabeth Brett Weiser.
Right. They worked on I think is that Anna? Is that Anna? Sarah. And
then they got a Jeff Lemire book.
Yeah. They put out good books. The books are nicely drawn, good quality. The books themselves are gorgeous looking, but was Diamond being silly, guys, by not seeing this shift in the perception of their company?
In what way?
I mean, you got TKO Press who announces how TKO hopes to change comics distribution. The headlines you type in, TKO Press, a new comics publisher aims to shake things up. TKO Studios wants to revolutionize comics, and it just might. A comic distribution, and it just might. When you see those type of headlines and you're Diamond, do you think Diamond's just too thick-headed now to be worried about that? Put yourselves in a Diamond exec's position. Are you worried about that?
They're not big enough to worry about yet.
I'm thinking about my golden parachute. I'm in a Diamond executive position right now.
Yeah.
That's what I'm thinking about. I'm looking at my 401k. I'm looking at my retirement. I'm wondering how fast I can get off of this boat.
Yeah, I mean, I told you a couple of weeks ago, Varian, that Diamond was what's his name? Steve Jeppy's looking to sell the company.
Mm-hmm.
He's ready to retire from it. And there doesn't seem to be any. I'm not gonna say there's no takers. I just don't know who. There's nobody I've heard about really coming forward yet.
Yeah, I think that. I think that if they,
as far as TKO, I mean, yeah, okay, they offer wholesale pricing for retailers is 50% off the cover price and offers free shipping in the continental U.S. So any retailer who wants their books can go to the website and order whatever they want.
They're not gonna get me with that continental BS. I had continental breakfast at my hotel. There was no meat. They're not getting me with that word continental. Continental means no meat. You'll get French toast sticks, syrup, and some old dirty grits and a cookie. I know that's what they're gonna ship you in the box. Okay. Just the covers, no inserts. Speaking of that, I want to tell you guys a story. By the way, I was talking to a gentleman who told me that he bought a Hulk 181 first appearance of Wolverine, which is actually, I'm told, in truth, not the first appearance of Wolverine, but I digress. But he bought a Hulk 181 from a guy. He paid at a con. He paid $4,000 for it.
Hmm.
It was slabbed. Mm-hmm. Okay, he paid $4,000 for it, and the book. He decided, it was slabbed by not CGC, one of these other companies. There's another company that did slabbing back in, I guess, the early 2000s. But he sent it in to CGC, and they sent him back like, hey, the guts basically don't match the cover.
Ouch.
The guts were to a Hulk 125 or something like that, whereas the interior the cover was the actual 181 cover, but the guts were not.
But was it really? Was it a remake of the? Because I mean, it would be kind of weird. Why would you strip the actual cover of a 181 to put it on a 125?
Well, yeah, I'm wondering if the guy ever had it. If he just had the 181 cover and was like, "Hey, I got this, and I got a 125 gut. I'll just stick it in here, get it slabbed."
Well, you would have thought that the slabbing company would have gone through it.
Yeah.
I know that's what CGC does.
Yeah, they go through it. That's who contacted him and told him, no, this book isn't getting graded. This is not working. So
that's fraud right there.
I was, when I was at the con, I'll tell you guys a funny story.
I would imagine that would be prosecutable if there was a paper trail.
Yeah. I seen a guy across from me. He had Wolverine 181. I mean, Hulk 181. He had a couple different copies of it. 2 slabbed, 1 not. And I was, went up to him and said, how much for the unslabbed Wolverine 181? And he says, 2 bills. Now, guys, I don't know that much slang, but I know enough to get myself in trouble, and I know enough why I need to leave the scene. Okay. He said 2 bills. I immediately reached for the the credit card from Lola. Like, give me 200. I'll buy this book. He says, "Oh no. $2,000. I can maybe do 1,900, maybe cash if you got it." I talk to everybody. The universal description of 2 bills is 200. Not $2,000. Randy, if someone tells you they want 2 bills, what do they you think they mean 200 or 2,000?
I'd ask for clarification.
Yeah, well, I didn't get the Wolverine book. I can't spend $1,900 on a funny book, Lola says. Ralph says PGX was a known terrible grading company. And he says where CBCS is much better. And yeah, there was a guy too. He was asking all these questions. He's asking,
am I crazy? But what is the point of having your book slabbed?
It maintains freshness and quality.
But you can't read it. That's the whole point of owning, isn't it?
Read comic books? Are you insane? That'll decrease the value.
Dwayne, call myself insane Dwayne, right?
No, it is no, I mean, yeah. It's supposed to be when you're done with them. You get a book that's high value, get it slabbed, it verifies that it's going to be in the same condition you supposedly got it slabbed in. I believe the slab stops from page yellowing, Randy.
The what?
The slabbing is supposed to stop from the pages deteriorating and yellowing.
Yeah, it's supposed to totally protect the book. Airtight seal.
Yeah.
No more yellowing. It's like putting it in suspended animation.
Yeah. I mean, but
I am not an expert on slabbing either.
Right, but like I say, then once you read it once, now you slabbed it, then you can't enjoy it anymore. Well, I got the book; it's right there in the slab,
Well, I think digital books.
I just don't understand that mentality. I guess
Well, I found out that the slabbing is actually pretty expensive. It's the 10% of the book's value.
Yeah, they can charge that much.
So Wolverine, I keep saying Wolverine, but Hulk 181 would cost me $400 to get slabbed if it's a $4,000 value, which brought me to my next question these guys are talking about.
I'm not positive on that.
This guy had a bunch of books and he was asking the other guy, he wanted to sell them. And he's like, well, I got the Overstreet price guide. And
that's a guide.
Has any of you guys ever had Randy? Is there ever listed in Overstreet?
No, yeah. I've been listing Overstreet since since probably the early 2000s.
I almost said Bradstreet.
Since I did War of the Worlds, Tales from the Aniverse, The Realm, and Dead World were up there initially, and then I believe they've been put back in. But I haven't checked lately. I know that back in I don't remember the exact date. I want to say in the 90s when I wrote War of the Worlds, they gave me a script credit.
Okay, well, I want to bring this up too
because they considered the book that good. That this is Randy Zimmerman scripts begin, and it's been in the Overstreet ever since, every year.
I want to bring this up too here because I was told about it at the show, and I think we touched on it briefly, but I want to bring it back up because Diamond, while we're talking about Diamond, apparently they have begun to cut titles, or I should say cut distributors out of their books. There are publishers and their titles, certain titles out of the book. Like, hey, you're not meeting minimums on this, or you didn't meet minimums on that.
They've always done that.
Yeah. Well,
we had that problem with Arrow back in the 90s. They were telling us which titles they were going to take and which ones they weren't.
But they're doing it again.
I don't think they ever stopped. I don't think they ever did.
I thought you were telling.
I know for a fact that they've raised their minimums a couple of times since I was printing.
There are apparently, and I know that the emails are supposed to be going out, and I should say emails, but the contacts are going out the people, publishers this week who have, you know, been in Diamond about getting, hey, sorry, you know, you're done with
Like,
no
is it
purchase order.
a collection of publishers that are being cut, or
I'm hearing up to 5. I heard 5.
5 publishers? That's like almost every month.
Yeah, that's nothing new. I was under the understanding if you fell below their minimums, Diamond just didn't send you a purchase order. No explanation, no email, no nothing, just no purchase order.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I'm this is something, you know, when you say there's 5 or 6 publishers that are
Sorry, you're stretching.
5 or 6 publishers that are being canceled out, is there something more to this or not? You know, because this is something that goes on every month.
From what I was told, and here's the thing, I was told it by somebody who it was happening to. So of course they were making a big deal out of it because it's
Right.
You know,
yeah,
it's happening to me.
Yeah,
sure.
Do you guys think that? I mean, Randy, you've been there. You've received no purchase order before, right? Or retracted purchase order? Do they retract purchase orders?
On the Zim's Heroic Tales, we got totally ghosted. They wouldn't talk to us. They wouldn't respond to our inquiries. They wouldn't, you know, give us the time of day. Other books like the Oz book, we were told when we were going to stop it. And then when we solicited for Corvus 2, I believe they told us that we were not going to be Diamond was not going to be printing that book because they considered Corvus, the original Corvus 1 and 2 that were solicited from a different company as being part of our numbering, even though we had changed artists and we were really offering a much better, totally different product. They weren't about to allow us to do anything of any quality. With the Oz book, they told us what number we could go up to. They gave us permission to go up to a certain number, and then we had to stop, even though our numbers were climbing. And they had just jumped their minimums up, and we were getting really close to their minimum number. That's why they stopped us.
Every time you get close, they move the goalpost.
Yeah,
I'm over here now.
No, well, that's part of the reason why I stopped printing Arrow, is that Diamond was consistently moving and changing that goalpost. And we were hearing stuff from other retailers, crazy stuff. I mean, just stuff that did not make sense. That people were paying for ads, people were paying in order to have their cover in the previews book. It just got to be utterly ridiculous to the point where we threw our hands up, and I did the spank the monkey on the comic market. And Diamond was nice enough to give us, I believe, an additional 2-week extension on getting the number 3 to them, because we told them we were no longer going to print floppies and just concentrate on graphic novels. And they said they were fine with that. They were really happy that we were getting out of the floppy business, and that we were going to do graphic novels. And then the second graphic novel, which was Zim's Heroic Tales, that we sent to them, they completely ghosted us on and didn't give us any explanation, no purchases, no solicitation. We were looking every month for like 3 or 4 months, and then constantly calling them and asking for an explanation, of which they would never return our calls.
Ralph says he still got Realm and Dead World still in. I guess he's referring to the CGC.
The Overstreet price, Overstreet price guide. Yeah.
Lola has to leave. She's got a headache, and she needs to rest because she's got a long weekend coming up of sleeping in the car while we're driving to South Dakota. Takes a lot of work to sleep.
That's a long ass drive.
Yeah. One day tomorrow. So Lola, we're gonna let you go. Say bye to the audience. Wave. Wave higher. Wave higher.
Have a good night.
Wave higher more frantically.
Higher more frantically.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, I mean we did that, but so guys, we are approaching our 2-hour mark, which we try to shut it down at 2 hours. But I want to ask you guys real quick while we are still on the air. And I know I kind of asked this earlier, but with this now happening, do you think, we mentioned it, I almost said Samedi, but Jeppy maybe wanting to sell the, he wants the golden parachute, he wants out. Do you think we have a Diamond in 5 years?
Who knows?
Or do we still have a Diamond in the same capacity? Do we have
I couldn't tell you.
Yeah,
I couldn't tell you.
There's just no way of knowing right now.
I sincerely go ahead, Lewis.
There's too many variables at play right now.
Mhm.
It's looking. You hear rumors that both DC and Marvel and their ownerships are looking to possibly own it outright. I don't see that happening because it just both AT&T, Time Warner, and Disney have other distribution channels. They don't need to buy Diamond. Otherwise, they would have already done so, I would think, by now, just to get all their competition. That was kind of what Marvel was trying to do back in the 90s when they bought out Heroes World.
I won't tell you who said it, but a popular comics, not popular, well, I guess
prominent,
a prominent indie comics creator says Diamond will never fail. Told me Diamond will never fail. Marvel and DC would bail them out.
Well, keep that guy's name in mind when you talk to them, because
see what happens.
I don't think the question is, will Diamond be around in 5 years? I think the real question at this point is DC and Marvel Publishing going to be around in 5 years?
Yeah,
that's the real question, because these companies have been run so badly and so far into the ground. And once either one of those leave, once AT&T decides that they're done, which they already have with Vertigo and Mad, so it would not be no precedent behind it. They could decide tomorrow that DC Publishing is done. Or Disney, which they have shut entire companies and lines down before, decide that Marvel is over and shut them down, then the whole market
changes.
It's going to be like a domino effect, and everybody's going to be grasping. And whether or not Diamond can survive that is the big question. And I think that's the major question we need to ask. I think Diamond's going to stick around until Jeppy finds a buyer,
right?
And then the buyer is going to stay around because he's invested in Diamond. I don't think that's the problem. I think the mainstream companies are staring so many losses in the face, and we're hearing every time. Well, I think only I don't know if Dark Horse is a publicly traded or Valiant is a publicly traded companies, but I'd be real interested in seeing their end lines. I know IDW is a publicly traded company, and every quarter they're losing money really hard on the publishing end, and they're blaming the market constantly for their losses instead of themselves, which is a serious problem that they need to correct very badly, but that's another can of worms.
Well, all they got are their licenses, pretty much.
Yeah, and those licenses they can't resell those licenses. They can't.
Well, it's not a matter of being able to resell the licenses. It's being able
to monetize them.
Yeah, monetize them. So,
and
that's their big problem right now.
Marvel, if Disney shuts down Marvel, you're already seeing the kids line of Marvel being already licensed out to IDW,
who's still losing money, even though they're doing it.
Well, you got to look at what they're doing. They're doing a lot of reprints of that old Marvel Adventure stuff from 10 years ago.
I haven't seen that.
That's.
Are you sure that's what they're doing?
Yep.
Because all I've seen are ads for Ms. Marvel and what do they call those? Oh, what's the name of the series that they have on Disney?
Oh, the Marvel Rising.
Yes, Marvel Rising. The Marvel Rising book. That's all I've seen advertising for.
I'll be right back.
Mm-hmm.
I know that they are doing some. Excuse me. I know they are doing some reprints, but
I'd have to take a look at it. That they might have inherited the Archie contract then, because Archie Comics was doing the Marvel Adventures material in digest form around to the grocery stores.
I believe they are doing some reprints. I believe they are. Let's come back. I think that let's see. Enthusiast. They got the TMNT license, Samurai Jack, Back to the Future, Clue.
Oh, they got a lot of licenses, but that's a lot of money going out that they have to now monetize. They have to get their money back on those licenses.
Yeah, that's okay.
They got Marvel Action Classics, Ant-Man, which reprints Marvel Adventure Superheroes from 2008, number 6 and 10. They got Marvel Action Avengers number 11, which is new content. They got Marvel Action Spider-Man, which is reprint content. And they got Marvel Action Black Panther Rise Together, which is new content.
Why would Marvel
New content or used content?
3 of them are new, and one of them is the reprints of the Marvel Adventure stuff that I got.
They're only doing one reprint book.
Yeah.
Why would Marvel do that? Why would they issue reprints when they can make that money? Is the license worth more to them?
Lazy.
Uh,
No, you're probably right. The license is probably worth more to them than any of the money that they were making off of the Adventures books.
Yeah.
They already had a Marvel Adventures reprint license out to Archie for the digest books. Those only lasted a year and a half.
Right. I'm looking here for this stuff, though.
There were 8 issues total of that book out. I haven't seen another one since.
Mm-hmm.
And they were okay books. They were a little difficult to read, but my eyesight's going.
These look like they're collections of Marvel Action from earlier in the year, though.
Probably earlier in the decade.
Yeah.
Well, guys.
So that's in the latest preview. So that's all I can tell you.
We're gonna get out here. Want to keep this show like 2 hours, so we're gonna get out here for the weekend. Now, I do not believe it's gonna be a breakfast show unless I reschedule it this week because I gotta leave Thursday morning.
Okay.
So,
do you want to do? Well, I'd say do you want to do Wednesday morning, but that's tomorrow.
Yeah. Maybe we could do our. We'll figure out something to get 2 shows this week. We'll figure something out. Maybe we'll do something tomorrow. It's a quick show to catch up on any news that breaks on Glorious Wednesday, which is tomorrow. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Thank you for joining us. We really appreciate it. Everyone listening to iNDIEvOLT Radio, and you can always, if you recall, check us out. Hold on, see, I got my graphics ready this week. Ain't I awesome? You can always check us out on Roku TV. iNDIEvOLT Radio or iNDIEvOLT TV is on Roku. It's free. We stream independent movies, comics, all that fun stuff. Definitely check that out. Well, not independent comics, but independent interviews with independent interviews with independent talent. Wow, it's a lot of independence. As well as, why are my links not working? There we go. Okay, yep. As well as iNDIEvOLT Radio, which also is streaming online right now. You can check that on Google Play as well as Streamer on iOS. iNDIEvOLT Radio streams independent music 24 hours, 7 days a week, unless we cut in on one of these, which we usually do. So if you're joining us on iNDIEvOLT Radio, please write in to us at iNDIEvOLT Live or iNDIEvOLT Live at iNDIEvOLT.com. Next week, we will be talking about those books that people are sending us, Randy, because we've been getting emails about that.
Sweet.
People are reading. Some people have been nice enough to take pictures of covers as well as some of the interior art. We'll put some of that up here next week.
Look forward to that. That'll be good.
Yeah. So it's some of them may very well set those standards back. What we talked about earlier.
That's okay. If they're reading those books, I would really like to know why. And it's all right. I don't care about the quality. I just want to know what they're reading.
Yeah. So I got some of that. I want to make sure I got enough of it before we did a show with it. So I got about, I think I had about 5 or 6 different books people have sent in.
Well, thanks everybody for turning those in. That's awesome.
All right, everybody. Thank you for watching. Yeah, so that's pretty much it. I will see everybody at the Breakfast Buzz. We can catch us here every Tuesday night at 9 p.m. We are here. We have where are you guys normally at? Lewis, did you lose your mic?
No, I'm here.
Okay. You can also catch us on our various other stations. Randy, Zim Geek,
yeah, new products coming up soon. I just got a couple commercial jobs I am in the middle of, big shirt order and another t-shirt order. So,
and Lewis, you have Quoth the Raven, Lewis Bright Raven, the channel, some live drawing, some question and answers up there. Uh, the I've checked out a few of them. Thursday at 9.
Thursday PM at 9.
Thursday PM at 9 o'clock on Lewis Station. I will go back into this video and put links to the respective stations so you guys can check those stations out. They are very interesting indeed. And, you know, most of the stations don't have me on there. So I don't know how good they are because I'm not on there. If I'm not on the station, I can't promise you the quality. I can tell you that those are stations and they do exist. All right, everybody. You guys have a good night. Have a better tomorrow. I will talk to you all very soon.
Take care. Thanks for listening.